Guys ready? Okay, we got everybody. This is everybody who's gonna be here?
Yes.
Still is not?
No, this is everyone that we're expecting today.
Okay, right, great. Cool. Should you get me to start?
Yes.
You ready to go? All right. Everybody ready? We can call the meeting to order. Thank you all for coming. This is the Brewery District Commission. Our next business meeting is Thursday, June 22nd at noon in this room. And then our next hearing is Thursday, July 6th, immediately after the holiday, at 4 o'clock, also in this room. Can I ask you ladies to raise your right hand? Swear to tell the truth, you don't do it today?
I'm sitting up today.
Okay. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and nothing but the truth, and speak loudly?
I do.
Thank you so much. All right. Can I have the commissioners introduce themselves?
Matt Leisure.
Daniel Mather.
Devyani Purani.
And I'm Cynthia Hunt, and we are happy to be here with you today. Do we have any public comments?
No, not today.
Great. Then, how about, we'll go over the staff approvals.
Just had one staff approval this month, and it was BD 23-06-001. It's at the corner of West Whittier and South Front Streets. And it was an application for a temporary banner for the Scioto Osborne Metro Park for an art exhibition, temporary art exhibition. And that was all of our staff approvals.
That was the only stuff. Okay.
Yes.
Anything you want to highlight out of that?
Not particularly, I think. There's only a few moments to be up, so it needs to be down.
I'm sorry.
The banner only has a few weeks left to be up. It'll be removed by July 6th.
Do we have any questions? Comments? Okay. Do we need a vote for approval?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we'll just have the minutes from our previous meeting.
Yep. Hang on, backing up to the agenda. Okay, has everyone had a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, any questions or comments? Aoife, everybody feel fairly represented?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve the May minutes.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Perfect.
Let's hear about the staff reports.
Yes, we have two applications this month. The first application is BD 20-06-002 at 808 South High Street. This is a request for action. The proposed work description is to remove existing drive-through elements, including the speaker pedestal, light, and menu boards. Install a new canopy, speaker post, clearance bar, and digital menu board as per the documentation. The existing non-digital menu board is to be replaced with a smaller digital menu board. The existing speaker post is to be replaced with an updated speaker post, which will be about 3 feet 7 inches tall. The clearance bar is to be replaced with a more substantial and visible non-illuminated clearance bar at the same height, which is 9 feet. The existing light pole is to be removed, and a new non-illuminated canopy is to be installed over the order point, the purpose of which is weather protection. The island is to be modified as needed for these new drive-through elements, and the drive-through is to be restriped. The staff analysis. The following is taken from the June 2nd, 2022 Brewery District Commission meeting minutes. The commissioner comments were that the proposed new cooler and drive-through elements would not be visible from the street and would not appear to affect parking, and the applicant would to provide revised materials following the preliminary review of the site plan by building and zoning staff. The applicant is no longer proposing to replace the cooler box. All improvements are located to the rear of the property, and they would not be visible from South High Street, but they would be visible from East Cosset Street. And all improvements are part of a Taco Bell corporate update. And all improvements will be non-illuminated with the exception of the digital menu boards. So staff recommends approval of this application. As submitted with any and all clarifications to be submitted to HBO staff for review and approval prior to issuance of the certificate. And the basis for this recommendation is City Code Section 3116.13, standards for site improvements.
You say not, when they say the proposed new cooler drive-through elements, et cetera, not visible from the street, not visible from High Street or Casa? Or both?
From High Street, I would imagine.
Because it is visible to Casa.
Yes.
All right. Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Do we have questions? Or would the applicant come up, right?
Yes.
Right here.
Come on. We'd be happy to swear you in and have you introduce yourself,
You can sit down.
wherever you'd like to be. How'd you like to introduce yourself? Then we'll swear you in.
Sure. Jason Wakefield with Moss Restaurant Groups.
And will you raise your right hand, please? Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And you don't have to speak up, you're just fine.
Yeah.
Great. Would you like to describe anything else about your submission that you think you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, we currently have a walk-in cooler in the back, that we have it currently faced, the same way the building is. So we're not making any modifications to that. We were looking into it, but then elected not to. So we just want to continue on updating the drive-through area to get it out of 1985.
And have we seen you before on this topic?
In June.
Okay, all right, I thought we had. Okay, do you guys have questions?
Is the canopy supposed to be entirely graphite black? Is that the idea?
The canopy, there's a picture of the canopy that we'll have up. It's actually white.
Okay,
It had a small little 3-inch light that kind of just shoots up to highlight a little bit, but we took that out.
okay.
And the clearance bar was just the one that we had was about a 2-inch diameter. We just wanted something 4 inches or so that people can actually see it.
The purpose of the canopy is.
Rain and weather.
Because it doesn't look like it's gonna be effective with that. It's pointed up so high.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a taper to it, but when you're like, you can see the new speaker post that we have there,
Right.
and you're only a foot or so from it, it gives you a little bit of coverage. That picture's taken from another location, just as a reference.
Any other things you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, just,
Do we have questions? Yeah, I don't either. Is there a reason that you move this out of staff approvals to come to us?
Just that we don't have any true guidelines surrounding drive-throughs.
All right,
Gotcha.
I just want to understand your rationale. I'm not seeing anything crazy.
So this is a slight modification of what was previously approved and in addition to that.
yeah, we were going to have to extend the drive-through out a few feet to make room for a freezer that we were gonna add on the backside.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which kind of changed this parameters. So when we decided to not go over that hurdle, so to speak, it was just replacing what we had.
Isn't that where all the dialogue was before?
Yeah, if I remember.
Yeah.
So this is less site work basically and just,
Yeah,
okay.
we're just, from a site work perspective, we're gonna add that awning, so we'll have to, can you go back to the drive-through, the print, please? Yeah, so we're going to, currently it's 4 foot, that little peninsula there. We're gonna make it 5 foot, that way we can have the base of the awning kind of inside that where it's not like a separate piece sticking out. It'll be a cleaner look.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what little peninsula.
Am I allowed to walk over here?
Sure, of course.
So due to the location, this is all blacktop through here.
Right,
So if for us to put the proper footing in for that awning to sit, it would actually sit inside the curb in that blacktop. So it'd be like, this is that little peninsula right here, but then there would be something here. Well, we wanted to kind of encase it where it's all in one. It kind of looks like it was meant to be there, not an added that was fast.
less obtrusive, less looking like building blocks. Okay.
So we're going to bring this toward the building more, just enough to bring that in there. So we're not going to lose anything from the handicap or anything. It's just going to keep it, make it look like it was meant to be there and not an add to.
And the view from Casa is not really going to change. They're still gonna have the sign facing them and the cars going.
Correct. Yeah.
Because the pictures of the other site threw me for a loop for a minute. I know this site very well, so I
Yeah.
was intrigued. All right.
And even with Casa, with the trees and stuff there, it's, you have only like when you can exit the lot.
And
you
those,
have-
I think, are offices right on that street. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're just taking this light out. We, in the past, we've had some, just because the lot lights are open till 3 o'clock in the morning. So we're just, we don't think we need it, so we're just go ahead and take it out, which I think will help the residentials behind it.
To the east of it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, on the opposite side of this fence,
Right.
there's residential back there on that side street. I mean,
But there's also a fence there.
there is.
And getting rid of the light, will there be enough light from other sources? From a
There's,
Safety
there's
standpoint?
There's spotlights on this side that's kind of directional, but, and that was an option, that was just something it doesn't have to come out, we're okay with leaving it in, we can paint it and update it and it'll be just fine. I think previously, when we was going through it, there was recommendation, somebody mentioned about maybe looking at removing it. But I'm fine with leaving it up, just painting it and updating it.
I think. I'm only concerned about enough light on the plate for safety.
I agree, yeah.
If they feel like they don't need it, I
Yeah.
have no objection to them getting rid of it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So judgment call then, or do you want me to leave it up or take it out? It's in the scope to take it out, but I mean, I don't want to do one thing and then,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
then, you know,
Have us tell you did something wrong.
So you feel you don't need it from a safety, security and functionality standpoint, is that?
there's, like I said, there's another set of lights that kind of go this way. Now, this back section here would be a little bit darker because you're losing that. We've never had an issue with people getting in and out of the building. Knock on wood, please. It was just kind of a recommendation. I said that's gonna.
Well, it's not wildly attractive, right?
No, but I can paint it, we can paint it bronze and fit in a little bit better in color than the purple thing sticking out there. And I can see about getting a different light fixture on top.
I would buy that. And this approved by the staff. The fixture itself,
Okay.
color of the fixture, that'd be great.
Okay.
Do we prefer black to bronze?
Well, I mean, currently this, on the, right thing. See this,
Sign's gonna be black, the canopy's gonna be
this is like
black.
what they call like a space gray.
Uh-huh.
I can see about painting it the same color as that. It's not black, but it would work.
Either one of those works for me. So just so the staff sees the lighting fixture and the final color, that would be great. You okay with that?
And maybe I can get with them that there's a regulation of a light fixture that's now approved in that area. That way I can work through Sophie on that.
We okay? Great, awesome. Any other discussion, questions, thoughts?
That's that orange line showing change.
That's where we was kind of proposing just widening this a little bit on this inside here. Just so when we dig the new footer, we'll put a new curb in and then blend it in where it looks clean. Because if not, we would have to probably either chip away the curb or go on the inside of the curb, and then it's just gonna look like it was kind of dropped in at the last minute.
So what does look clean mean?
Well, to me, if it was inside the peninsula here, then it was designed to be there. But if I came back 3 foot and did, because you normally have to do like a 24-inch round base on those concretes to hold those things up. And then it's just gonna be sitting there on the asphalt. And I just think, because we're not moving anything out, and this is kind of like a dead space anyway. If I brought this curve out this way and have that inside where the bricks are, it would just look like it was meant to
So
be.
the surface of the new space would be what?
It would, so this curve here,
Yeah,
we would put a new curve here
right.
and then blend it in here, and then we would keep brick there.
You'd bring the brick over? to the new
Yes,
space? That's what.
yes, we would just extend the brick out further. When we're gonna have all that taken out and laid flat and clean. So
And then extra stripes for the drive-through coming.
it was just to kind of give it a little bit more of a curve when they're coming into the stack.
And so that's an ADA space now, but are you moving
There's
that?
one here, there's one on the other side.
So on your plan, you're not showing that as ADA anymore?
It's staying ADA, there should,
Okay.
I apologize,
Okay,
if you minimize that a little bit. That should have been, that will remain in ADA, and then we have our second ADA over here.
so we can just note that for.
Yeah.
And that spot next to the.
Yeah, that will remain in ADA, we're not, because this technically,
It's not a parking.
this is that striped area that I was referring to that we're gonna try to bump into a little bit. But we have the one here in the sidewalk.
So that's your van accessible there with the wider,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, this is our ramp to come up.
right.
Well, technically either one of them could be now, but we're splitting hairs.
Yeah, right. The one across is not, but maybe not.
Yeah, this one here was, the architect put that in, he said it was just to kind of give it more of a curve. There's not gonna be nothing there with striping, people's gonna probably cut it anyway, but it was just more of a,
Defining.
I'm sorry?
I said defining that.
Yes, correct.
It doesn't show reality, which is that the cars are all the way out to the street. A lot of business in this place. Are we okay?
Yeah.
Debbie, anything else?
Delivery is a crazy world anymore. That store does 40% delivery.
Really?
Wow.
That's interesting.
It's the highest in our market.
That surprises me. Who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the existing light fixture remaining with a new fixture for the light itself painted dark gray to match existing gray on the building, and that the ADA parking remains as is,
Yeah.
That the fixture be approved by staff.
and that the fixture be approved by staff.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next application is BD 23 06 003 at 841 to 843 South Front Street, 835 South Front Street, and 66 to 68 Winter Street. This is a conceptual review for variance recommendations. Potential variances are a use variance to permit 108 total dwelling units in an M district, a variance to section 3312.49 off-street parking to permit 60 parking spaces, which is a reduction of 102 parking spaces, a variance to section 3363.24, which is the minimum building setback to preserve the existing conditions along Front Street, variance to section 3363.24, which is again the minimum building setback to preserve existing conditions along Whittier Street, and a variance to 3312.29 parking spaces to vary the size of the rectangular area from 9 by 18 to 8 foot 6 inches by 18 feet. So the staff analysis is the applicant is proposing these variances in conjunction with previously submitted drawings from the May 2023 hearing packet. The requested setback variances legitimize the existing conditions on the South Front Street and West Whittier Street. The applicant is proposing 60 parking spaces to serve 102 units. They state that the code requirement of 1.5 parking spaces per dwelling unit will be more than is necessary to serve smaller units. And they also note that there will be a significant number of units dedicated for workforce housing, where some tenants will utilize public transportation. The variance to parking space size may provide the opportunity for some additional parking spaces. And there are no final plans as of yet, so these variances are subject to change, and that's why they're being heard conceptually rather than having action taken today. So the staff recommendation is that commissioners should offer feedback that can be utilized by the applicants to further refine the proposal for review at a future meeting. And the basis for this staff recommendation is City Code Section 3116.11, standards of illustration. City Code Section 3116.12, standards for new construction. And City Code Section 3116.13, standards for site improvements.
Would you like to come up and speak with us? Please introduce yourself for the record.
Hi, I'm Doug Urban. I'm the Director of Development, Planning and Development for the Stone Edge Company.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So I do.
Thank you very much. Would you like to explain your proposal to us?
Sure. Thank you for this opportunity. We had gone through these briefly at our last appearance here. And as part of my new strategy and plan is that I plan on coming early and often. So that we
As
can
opposed to what you have been doing?
well, we've been coming sporadically and sometimes not listening.
All right.
But no, just in an effort, as we represented our last time we appeared before you, is that we are, pursuing the variance, which then after that is through with the agreement that it will be a zoning change at a later date. It's just all a function of timing and council schedules. So we have refined this a bit since what we presented to you at the last meeting. There's still, we don't have a final plan with you, so this could change yet again. So I don't want to be presumptuous and say, hey, this is it, because we're not there. But
Changes at least to us, that's what would help me, or do you want to hear the whole thing, Debbie?
Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, you're just presenting the variances that you could be asking for.
Right.
that's correct.
That's exactly right.
So nothing else has changed in the packet.
No, sir.
Okay.
At this juncture, we will be back at the next meeting with changes, especially more detail on how our transition works from the existing single-family home to our new addition. We're working that through right now.
I at
Get
least would
stuff
like to
like
hear
that.
the differences, and have some sense of, people's reactions to those. Is that okay with everybody? Do you want the whole
In
thing?
the packet, there are before and after conceptual site plans included, maybe just touch on what's changed.
Well, from what you've seen before, nothing's changed. What we've done is just,
You were
like-
not here last time, right?
I was.
yeah.
Yeah,
but-
we went through it in detail this time.
Got it.
So-
Okay.
Right, and I do believe that within the Dropbox, Sophie was good enough that she had everything out there from
But
our
you
supplemental
still
materials
walk
we
through the
presented.
Otherwise, it will go the next.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And one thing I will tell you that did change, but it was, we had received a series of questions from Sophie that we responded to that she went through in her staff report. We did go down to 60 units. Part of that was because of the shifts we had to do with addressing that northeast corner. It interrupted some of our drive aisles within that parking area. So that is one change that happened. We dropped about 3 spaces there.
You went from 62 to 60?
Yes,
I didn't remember being that low.
Units or parking spaces?
Spaces.
spaces.
Right, okay,
And
spaces. Yeah.
the other thing I didn't understand, did we talk about the size of the parking space before? I don't remember that.
We did not, and that's why we're trying to get a little bit more specificity. Well, we've added more specificity to that we may be that the city has granted those variances before for parking spaces. The city's code traditionally is really written for suburban development. And their typical, standard sizes of 9 by 18, that's 6 inches, is done quite often. We're just letting you know that we may be asking for that.
Because people who live in urban areas don't drive big honking trucks.
I can't say that, but I would
Because I think
say,
that would be a mistake.
no, I wouldn't say that at all. Actually, I've been very amazed. I grew up in the South End, and I'm amazed at the size of vehicles in German village these days. Nonetheless, that is a standard though that, 8.6, even with large honking vehicles, we feel would be appropriate. We also do believe that given the fact that my hope is over time that also there's people have transportation choices. And I really believe that is a lifestyle choice a lot of people make that live in urban areas, and that those transportation choices, don't necessarily require that we provide, 100 and.
Are you going to price the units with and without parking?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to price the units with and
We
without?
charge extra for the parking.
So everybody who is one of the 60 will have a designated space.
Yes. That's a similar protocol we have with the Pierce that we have in the Discovery District. It's working. Also, many of our competitors do the exact same thing.
Have you talked to the variance guys about these at all?
We had a one-stop shop meeting with all of the various people, and have gone through the site plan with them. Yes.
Did they have heartburn for any particular one of them?
No, not necessarily at all. I'll be honest with you, the biggest heartburn they had was the trees. We spent more time talking about the fact that there's a very large tree that's probably not in the right spot. And it's going to have to come down, in that we've committed to putting a lot of tree. I want to make sure we have a good tree lawn. The other issue we are talking to them about is working with AEP and MEL as relates to power lines on the south side of our property that run along the access road.
And what's the thinking for that?
I'd love to put them underground.
Is that something you're doing, or you're asking the city to do for you?
Let's see all the above.
And the tree is the one in the corner right by the house?
Yes, it is. And actually the trees, it's an old tree. It's great sidewalk issue. There's a bunch of factors there. Also, the health of that tree is not great.
I have a hard time convincing me that it's a great thing to take it down.
I'm sorry?
Don't bother trying to convince me.
Okay. No, you still have to understand.
Yeah.
I just got a rezoning in a suburban location where everybody loved trees, and I had to espouse every reason why I was cutting it.
So to that point, I think it's really important that you talk about burying utilities and doing a streetscape. I think that's really important that makes its way into our conversation, because
With some explicit stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
the tree replacement plan along Front Street, I think it's,
And we'll provide that. We're actually meeting with our landscape architecture team on Monday.
okay. So I think that's a very important thing for a number of reasons, so.
Agree.
Right, but we really, beyond the aesthetics, there's some other reasons why we are having these discussions as it relates to the power lines and everything else hanging on those poles on the south side of our city.
On the south side, or what about
It's the west side.
on the Front Street side?
Broad Street side, that we have not had that discussion.
Okay,
I mean, we can have it. I'm not making any commitment about it. I mean, I'd love it all to be underground, but I'm certain that that's, everybody wants everybody else to pay for it, so.
yeah, well, I guess so we're trying, as you are taking things away, we're trying to understand what's going back.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
But right now, our focus has been on the south side there.
Okay,
It's also true for the west side, right?
the Front
The
Street,
back of
or the west side of.
The back is not
Nobody
as,
cares about that.
Believe it or not, really, it's, that south side's a real gonna,
Have to go look at it.
yeah, the thing is on the south, the problem is on the south side is that's, it's all higher voltage power. It's all single phase coming in from Bank Street, or what is known as Bank Street. Whereas the big power is, running parallel to Whittier.
Do we have any feedback or questions?
So just in terms of variances, the dwelling units in the M district, that's got technical variance basically, right? Because we're in an M district and this has been historically zoned manufacturing. Same with the minimum building setbacks. Both of those are kind of technical variances just to improve what's already existing as an existing condition.
You've asked that the existing facade be kept, so they're
Right.
gonna have to ask for it.
Right, so really the only ones worth discussing are the second and the fifth one.
The number of spaces and the size of the spaces.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
fifth, I mean, they're kind of at odds with each other, so they're only parking 1.5 parking spaces per unit. But then again, they're trying to reduce the amount of, the size of the parking space to increase the number of parking spaces per unit, so. In my mind,
Right, yeah,
8.5 by 9, or the 8.5 by 18 is a no-brainer.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's done, as Doug indicated, it's done quite often.
and that
These types
will,
of projects.
just based on your parking layout in your garage, you do that and you pick up a couple spaces here and there, just because you're picking up 6 inches for
yeah.
every,
Yeah, we're trying to explore every opportunity that we have.
okay.
But the 108 to 60, it's just, we have to have faith that people are gonna be able to park in the
Right.
neighborhood, which is not really robust with.
Well, also, what I would say to that too is that as the developers, since we hold everything we built, we don't flip, is that, trust me, that has our attention in developing strategies because it will affect my occupancy and turns on gyms.
Not to mention revenue in the sense of parking spaces. So what does that mean that you will be doing?
Well, we're,
Other than paying attention.
well, no, we're paying attention, but, you know, we're looking at opportunities to park that side, the south side of the property. And working with the city to pick up some spaces there.
On street,
I'm sorry?
on street parking? So what you're-
Well, it's technically not a street. Right now it has lockable bollards, and so we'd like for those to be breakable bollards and, yeah. So there's some, you know, we're looking at every opportunity we can because along Front Street, we have no opportunities there. You can park maybe
Right.
2 cars.
What's the likelihood that you could get, I mean, what's the max you could get out of the south side?
I could probably pick up another 15 to 16 spaces there. And then also, if we work out some arrangement, I might be able to round that corner a little bit.
So that would be like parallel spots on the south side of your property.
They would be perpendicular to the face of our property.
Head in park.
Yeah, it'd be headed.
Okay.
And there are quite a few parallel spaces right in front of your building on Front Street, right?
We're restricted though by the hydrant though, and the
Okay.
distance from the corner of the intersection. So I can't park that whole frontage. I wish I could. And I do have a little bit in front of the existing single family home. There's a couple of spots there. But, yeah, so we're continuing to look at every opportunity.
Right. So I think in just discussing that, that's important for us to know. There's at least 4 or 5 spaces on Front Street, at least, right?
Yes.
Potentially another 10 to 15 that we're picking up on video.
So why don't we see something about the south side as a variance on your list?
That's really not a variance. That would be a use agreement with the city since they own that.
All right, and you would bring that to us as defense when your variance comes up to.
Yes, that's correct.
formally.
And also, that's one of the things that we're just trying to work through here right now. And part of the issue too, there's a lot of stuff there under that roadway. But I really don't, I've known that, you know, ODOT's worked out similar situations over here, Smith Brothers Hardware. They used some of the ODOT right away as ancillary parking. There's creative ways to work through this. And so we're wanting to broach that with it.
We'll look forward to hearing the creative solutions.
Yeah.
So really, the only thing that we think we care about is the number,
Right.
total number, and we encourage you to do everything you can to increase that.
And
Is
we-
there a drop dead thing that we would tolerate, or do we want to target, or do we want to just say do everything you can?
So you're kind of constrained by the existing building
Right.
in terms of space. So I think that's somewhat of a limiting factor because we don't want to mess with the existing walls that we're trying to.
I can't remember what is south of there. Is there any parking south there that you can take advantage of? I have to go look.
On Whittier or?
Yeah.
What, you mean south of Whittier
Yeah.
on Front Street?
South of Whittier on
Yeah,
front?
front.
Oh, there is on-street parking on front, south of us.
There's no close lot that you could get part of.
No, because really, I don't know exactly how many buildings you have, but once you move your way down through there, you're starting to get into that's just green space that kind of leads you down to the dam and spillway,
Right.
across the old Columbus Jack.
When you come back for the variance, beyond conceptually, it may be helpful to provide other parking ratios that are done in an urban context.
Yes.
So we have something to benchmark.
That's a great.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I think zooming out of this view and showing where there's existing on-street parking that is available,
Within a block or so.
which extends
A couple
pretty far
blocks.
from here as far as I recall.
Right.
So
Also a great suggestion.
Any other comments?
Not for me, anybody having?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, part of this was just being
just
respectful,
had to
telling
see
you
it.
where we are.
You just had to see us, so you couldn't.
Oh, yeah, I missed you.
Bye.
I really missed you, so.
Yeah.
But no, we're just trying to keep engaged in this dialogue as we went through this.
We appreciate you coming by. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything you need, Sophie?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Is
Have a
there
good
any new business?
No new business?
Okay. Anything old that we need to be focused on?
No old business either?
Okay. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
My second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nobody is opposed. Thank you very much.
So we're finished.
Did you have something you wanted to talk about?
Well, I have an agenda. I think maybe I have misunderstood the dates or something.
What property are you here for?
I'm here for 223 West Beach Wall, 5 trees I want to put in is all. I'm replacing trees that were removed.
Isn't Beach Wall a different historic?
Historic
district?
Resource Commission. It sounds like you missed the meeting by a couple hours. Because you would have been in contact with Jacqueline Lehman, correct?
Yeah, it said it's estimated that it will not be heard before 4:30 on my form. That's why the following application will not be heard before 4:30 PM.
Is it next door?
No, that was the business meeting was today.
Okay.
Right day. Slightly, let me say.
So we're happy you can spend some time with us. Yeah. We're supporting.
we have those streets. Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Still.
I just, the thought that he thinks he wants to come more often, just,
Wait.
oh, so with that, I need to make it happen.
Okay.
And
Did you guys turn the recording, please?
similar to this, which is more formal one that applicants go back and forth with the commission.
You and I have ours on.